Hello Stampers, this is Stamp Lady Katie. Today's tutorial is on using the Stampin' Up! Stamp-a-ma-jig. When I tell people the tools that you must have to do stamping, of course number one is a paper cutter because you can't cut that long of a straight line with scissors. Tool number two for me is the Stamp-a-ma-jig. This tool is used to line up stamped images so that they are perfectly placed in exactly the spot that you want them on the piece of paper. This tool comes with a handle. It also comes with a piece of hard plastic. You are intended to create your image on that piece of hard plastic. Our inks are water soluble, so you can just wash it off and reuse that piece of plastic. I'm going to show you something that I do instead. Instead of using that piece of plastic that comes with the handle, I use a piece of vellum cardstock. The vellum cardstock is see-through. And what I do is I dedicate one piece of the vellum cardstock to every stamp set that I'm going to use this Stamp-a-ma-jig handle with. That way I don't have to recreate the template each time. I have them made already ahead of time. So I'm going to show you how to create the template, and then I'll show you how to use the template. The concept is that you have a finished project upon which you want the stamped image to be perfectly lined up. So piece of paper and stamp need to be perfectly aligned. To help that along, I'm going to first perfectly align my image with my template, and then align the template with my finished project. To use this, it doesn't matter which corner or which way you put the handle. What does matter is that you do it the same every single time. For me, my method of choice is in this upper corner. And I chose that in part because I'm right-handed, and in part because putting it on the top of my piece of paper gets it out of the way. I can see it, my hands aren't in the way. So what I've done right now to start with is I have the handle and my template perfectly aligned with each other. I'm going to bring my, let me make sure it's inked, bring my stamp, and I'm going to set it up here in the corner. It's not down yet, it's just set in the corner. It goes straight down, and it will come straight back up again. So now, three things are perfectly aligned with each other: the template, the stamp, and the handle. For this project, I want to have my words centered and parallel with the bottom edge of the piece of paper. So now, two things are aligned with each other. Right now, the template and the surface I'm going to be stamping on are lined up with each other. So now I need to bring in my handle and make sure that my handle, don't want that to slip, so maybe hold it in position. So now I want to make sure that my handle is lined up with the vellum. So the handle and the vellum are lined up with each other exactly the way that they were when I printed on the vellum. Then I bring the stamp in. Stamp goes in the corner, straight down, no rocking, straight up. And now my stamped image is centered and lined up even with the bottom. It's just a matter of making sure, once again, that your template and the handle are lined up with each other, and the stamp lines up with that. And then that the template and your project are lined up with each other, and put the handle back in exactly the right position. Now, since I'm a demonstrator and lots of people are using my templates, I do a couple of things to help people. One of the things that I'll do is I'll come back on this template and I'll mark for people which corner my template goes in. Sometimes I'll remind people that this is the short edge and this is the long edge of the handle. There's no question about this stamp, what's right side up or upside down, but if I have a flower stamp, something that it's not clear where the top and bottom is, and therefore how the stamp itself, I mean, nobody can turn this upside down. If they had this upside down, they would know. But sometimes with a flower stamp, they wouldn't know that it was upside down. So Stampin' Up! Always puts the words on the bottom of the stamp down here, and sometimes I'll go back and I will write something that reminds people that this is where the printed written words Stampin' Up! Go, so that if they have a flower stamp where it's not certain what's right side up or upside down, they know which way to orient the stamp. Here's one more helpful hint. This stamp came from a really great set called Teeny Tiny Wishes. There's 24 stamps in this set. So here I am with all 24 of my stamps. I've done one more thing to help make this use of the Stamp-a-ma-jig a little bit easier, since with 24 stamps and only 4 corners on a piece of paper, you're going to end up having more than one piece of paper needed to take care of all 24 of those stamps. So what I've done is I numbered all my stamps. This is stamp number 16. And when I say, oh, I'm going to use the Merry Christmas, and it's stamp number 16, then I can pull out the template that tells me, oh, 1, 13 through 16 are on here, so this is the right template to choose for that. In order to keep them neat, on the lid of my box, I've glued in a plastic envelope. Stampin' Up! Sells these plastic envelopes. I just cut off the top part that had the adhesive on it, and I can fit these inside. That way they stay nice and neat and don't get wrinkled or crinkled or smushed edges to them. Perfect way to store. Keep your templates. Don't have to remake a template each time. Thanks for stopping by. This was Stamp Lady Katie, and you can find more on my website, stampladykatie.com.